Trust in the Lord, your nights will turn today. Just remember, it will get.
Hello, friends. You know what time it is? It is 11:30 in the a.m. on a Monday, and it is your mid-morning program, Final Decision. Thank you so very much for being here today. Thank you so very much for spreading the word. Thank you for being our company. Thank you so very much for your feedback on the program. This is your mid-morning program. And by now, those who are here every Monday and every Thursday know what this is, know who I am, know who we are, know what we are presenting. But if you're a newbie, if this is your first time listening, or if you're caught on the tail end of our last program, the name of this program is Final Decision. It is aired every Monday and Thursday on this station. I am Mark Maitland from the Garden of Paradise Funeral Home. With me every week, my co-host and co-pilot, Errol Green from the Exodus Funeral Home. However, unfortunately, Mr. Green is not here with us today, but I have in that seat a very, very special guest. Persons have been asking about the program, and they wanted to know how the program came about, how the idea came about, and why is it that we saw the need. And the fact is we have been getting feedback because individuals have been expressing how much they have been helped by the information that we provide on this program. And so I'm going to introduce my guest, and I'm going to get straight into the conversation with him because he has limited time with us, and I want you really to understand what the program is about and answer the questions that you have been asking individually. So I'm going to give a corporate answer today. With me this morning is Mr. Dwayne McKay, and he is affiliated with this radio station, the Omega family, Omega KLAS 97 family. Welcome, Mr. McKay.
Thank you very much for having me here.
All right. So, friends, let me tell you about it now. You heard us, you heard Mr. Green and I talking about this a couple of weeks ago. We kind of hinted at how things started pre-COVID when Mr. Green came up with the idea that we needed to have a program to address some issues that were happening, that's happening in the funeral industry. And basically, persons have been coming to us with complaints and with questions, so on and so forth. And then Mr. Green said to me, Mr. Maitland, we need to find an outlet, either TV or radio, so we can answer the questions. And then since 2019, we have really been putting pen to paper, putting things together, putting the information, because I said to him, it makes no sense. We are planning to have a program, and then when it finally comes through, then we are thinking about content. And so we started to put the content together. 2019 turned 2021, 2022. We tried different avenues, but it was not working. But then 2023 came, and in January, Mr. Green said to me, in February rather, Mr. Green said to me, Mr. Maitland, this year has to be the year. We have to get all of this out, and we need to find an outlet. And I said to him, Mr. Green, something will happen. And by, friend, alas, I was doing a funeral service at a particular church. And then I got a call one afternoon, and this gentleman introduced himself as Dwayne McKay from the Omega KLAS 89 family. And he had an interesting question for me. Mr. McKay, talk to us, talk to the listeners, let them to understand how this whole thing came about, that we are here today.
Well, years ago, I worked with KLAS.
Yes.
And I had an important responsibility, and that was to reach the funeral homes across the island and promote the death announcements.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got a contract with Omega KLAS after coming back, and I thought about it. We realized that only 2 stations was carrying funeral announcements, or officially carrying funeral announcements. But it was always on the table for KLAS to do that. So with insurance background and all of that, I said, we need to reach the people. We need to say something to the people out there that will bring their attention, attract their attention to what KLAS has to offer.
Right.
So the idea come, we need to tell people more about what to do. being in a church, I have a lot of questions to answer, and most of those questions I don't have an answer for.
Right.
So persons would come to me and want to find out what do they do, who they contact, where this is concerned or that is concerned, as it relates to funeral arrangements. And I didn't have that answer. So it came to me that I should put this program together. But the divine intervention, I think, connected me with you, because it so happened that a church sister had a death,
Right.
and I recently met that lady, and in talking to her, she told me who was handling her funeral arrangements
Right.
and all of that. So I called you, and I asked you the question if you would be interested in hosting this program. And just like Miracle,
Right.
I would put it that way, it's a program that you had been working on.
And
So-
friends, let me just interject here. When Mr. Mackey, when we were having a conversation, I asked him if he knew Errol Green, and he said no. And I said, you have to know Mr. Green, because the things that you're saying to me, Mr. Green is the only person who know these things, because he and I are the only person who talk about these things. And when he said to me that, boy, he has never met Mr. Green, he had the idea, and he was just wanting somebody who share at least a similar conviction to have the discussion. I had to call Mr. Green at the same time and say, Mr. Green, you need to speak with this gentleman. And lo and behold, when Mr. Green spoke with Mr. Mackey, we decided to meet the following day, right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So we had to have a meeting. We have to see the man. We have to have a meeting, because we need to understand how it is that the very idea that we have, he came up with it. Go ahead, Mr. Mackey.
It's like King Nebuchadnezzar and Daniel. You had the idea, but it was planted in me.
Right.
And it so happened that I was led to make contact with you, both yourself and Mr. Green. And here we are.
Here we are.
The program is on. It is very interesting. A lot of persons are talking about it. A lot of persons are interested in what is being presented. And I just have high hopes about this program, because it is making the public aware of how to deal with situation, a situation that will come.
Right. Right.
And persons are learning more and more what to do when it happens.
When it happened. And as I talk about the fact that the listenership is growing, let me take the opportunity to say good morning and welcome to our overseas listeners in the United States and in Canada. And for those who catch the program delayed on the YouTube and you reach out to us, thank you so much for finding interest in the program, and thanks also for spreading the word and allowing individuals to know that the questions that they may have had, there's an outlet that provides the answer. And I want to say, most of all, thanks to the Omega KLAS FM 89 for allowing us this outlet to put the information out there. And of course, the intuition of Mr. Mackey, who was influential in all that is happening here. Mr. Mackey, continue.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. So friends, the program was thought of by two persons. And as Mr. Green says, every week, together, we can make the industry better. People thought of us, or I would think of it as competitors. And I remember when we were having a conversation, Mr. Green said to me, Mr. Maitland, we can't see ourselves as competitors, because if things need to change, somebody must decide to come together with somebody and others to see how best we can effect the change, because there is strength in numbers. And even if there's one person who's in agreement with what you are doing, then the power of agreement. Mr. Green always talk about the power of agreement. Wherever you are, Mr. Green, a very good morning to you, sir. You know that you are the inspiration behind all that is happening here today. The power of agreement is what Mr. Green normally talks about. And as we sat, Mr. Mackey, as Mr. Green and I, we sit together and we discuss the program. We discuss what we want for the program. And when we get the opportunity to, the direction in which the program was going. I remember that morning when we sat with you. And it's almost as if, and all I can say is divine intervention.
Divine
Because
intervention.
the very things that we had, and I was a person who had the scripted notes. The very things that I had looking at. When I looked over the table and saw you or knew when you were talking, most of what I had on my paper, you were there
Was
spitting
on my
out to me
paper,
as
yes.
if it is that, boy, you somehow copied what we had. And from then, we were of the conviction and still are of the conviction that what we're doing is not just a normal thing.
Exactly.
Can't be a normal thing. Because until that moment, you never know me. You never know of me.
Never know you.
You didn't even know of the funeral home. You didn't even know of the
I
funeral home.
met you when I spoke to you on the phone, but we only met when I went to the funeral.
Right.
And I saw this person and I asked if you are so and so. I said, is this Mr. Maitland?
Right.
And that's how I met
That's
you.
the first time we met.
But we had the discussion before that on the phone, and in all honesty, we had the same ideas that we were throwing out.
Mhm.
It's like we had talked before.
Mhm.
The same things that I mentioned is the things that you had. So it is a twin. When you talk about uh, idea, this is an idea that was planted not just in one person's head, but in more than one
More than
person.
one person's.
And it came together. And I can't think of any other description but divine intervention.
Divine intervention. Well, Mr. Mackey, I would just have to say thanks so very much for the opportunity that we have been afforded, this platform that we are given, we are allowed, and believe me, when I get the reviews and when we get the feedback and when the phone calls coming after the program, the text messages, the words, the inquiries, all I can say to Mr. Green, this is time and money well spent. The aim of the program from the get-go was to always seek to provide information to persons to help them to really navigate through what is happening in the funeral industry. It is a confusing time. When somebody dies for you, it is a very confusing time. And by experience, we know that death is not something that you can appropriately plan for. Because when the actual event comes,
Yeah.
you can't see how you will react. You can't see how you'll react. And especially if it is somebody that you are very close to. And so this program has been helping us to get the word out there to individuals so as to guide them as to how to cope. Not even deal with, but how to cope before, after, during the whole process of funeral planning and dealing with loved ones who has passed, and also interacting with different levels of agencies, because the fact is, when someone dies, the funeral home is not the only place that you're going to interact with.
Exactly.
And a few weeks ago, we had a counselor here, and can I tell you that this program has been a source of education for me, because most of the time, the persons who we have here, Mr. McKay, interviewing, it has become a place of learning, because in talking to
all of us,
in talking to these individuals, there are things that I used to take for granted, and until the information is put literally on the table in front of us. I mean, last Monday I was in awe when Mrs. Horton was here, helping us to understand grief and how to deal with grief and how to cope with grief. I was in awe because there are some little things that we take for granted that, believe me, it can be a world of impact. Mr. Mackey, I know that your time here is limited, and I just wanted to call it in, just have this chat with you, just to say to you, thank you so very much, and we do acknowledge the part that you have been playing in making this program what it is. We are 2 months old, going on to 3.
3 years.
Yeah, because come Thursday we'll be 3 months old, and really, the feedback that we have been getting on the platform is overwhelming, and I can say on behalf of Mr. Green, we are looking forward to brighter and better days, and we're looking forward to the longevity of the program, and you can communicate this to those above.
Much appreciated, man.
Right,
And
kid.
I tell you, I need to say thanks to you as well, because your addition to this family, somebody who I didn't even know that you had experience, or maybe you didn't have experience, but what we find out is that you coming on here is a natural. You
Thank you
have
so
been
much.
delivering, and both yourself and Mr. Green,
Thank you
and
so
the
very
persons out there appreciating what you are doing.
And no,
And-
we did not have any previous media background nor training.
See, and what we find out is, at the end of the day, we realize that other persons out there have information to share, and they will come on board as well.
They will.
The insurance company, I know you had an insurance company before, but there's much information to share.
There's a lot of information that will be shared, and especially things that pertain to the industry. So, for example, in the coming weeks, we're going to talk some more about the training that is imparted here for individuals who have interest in taking on the funeral service as a profession. So, in matter of days, we'll be having the discussion with the institution in Jamaica that provides training to funeral directors and morticians. So at least that is something to look forward to. We also will be having a chat with a representative from Kuna Mutual, because family indemnity is something that has become not only prevalent but very, very important. So we'll be having that person on the program. And the listeners have asked for some representation from other sectors of the spectrum, which include, which some way impact how funerals are done and or financed. And so we have listened to our listeners and their feedback, and I can tell you that there are some exciting times in store, and you will realize by now that this is not just a regular way of doing funerals.
Exactly.
Or providing funeral information. And so I can safely say there are exciting times in store, and so long as God permit us, you will be hearing much more through this program. The listeners will benefit from the wealth of information that we will be getting and passing on to them.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Maitland, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much for coming in, Mr. Mackey, taking some time out to be here with us. All right, listeners, we are up on our first break. We are going to take a break now, and on the other side of the program, we will chat some more, and I will also be giving out the numbers for those who really want to call in to say something. So on the other side of the break, we will chat some more. It will get better because it indeed came to pass.
Trust in the Lord, your nights will turn to day. Just remember, it will get better.
The Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission, JADCO, needs your help to eliminate doping and keep sport clean. If you have concerns about any doping activity, you can share the information with JADCO anonymously. The information you share will be treated with the highest level of confidentiality. Make the right call if you see something, say something. Protect clean sport. Protect our legacy. To report doping activity, call 888-429-5232 or visit the JADCO website at jadco.gov.jm. A message from the Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission.
Garfield, oh, you look so stressed out, my youth.
The BMW give me all kind of problem where the mechanic can't figure out. Plus the front end does a shake like earthquake.
A German Auto Parts and Service Center at 12A Mullines Road at the place, my youth. Them service center offers the best in diagnostic scans, plus them good with suspension service. While you're there, you can do a general maintenance including transmission. Them even do a comprehensive pre-purchase inspection, programming, and whole heap more.
Going to check them right now.
Call us at 876-926-1435 or WhatsApp 876-869-9474 or 876-518-8150 or reach us on social media at GermanAutoJA.com. German Auto Parts and Service Center, everything that's German.
My Mega Mart, best value by far.
With so much to do in one location, make Mega Mart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy, all in one amazing location. My Mega Mart, the best value by far.
My Mega Mart, best value by far.
For miles and miles of beautiful carpets and exquisite rugs to brighten your office and home, visit the Carpet Store at 18 Dunbarton Avenue off Mullines Road. They install, clean your carpets, and add elegance to every room in your house. Call 876-649-0174 or come to the Carpet Store at 18 Dunbarton Avenue, because you deserve the best.
It will get better. It will get better.
Welcome back to the program. The name of the program is Final Decision, aired every Monday and Thursday at 11:30 on this station. And indeed, it will get better because the fact is, whatever it is that is happening, it came to pass. So it will get better. All right, so we're here again. I am Mark Maitland from the Garden of Paradise Funeral Home. Mr. Errol Green, my co-host from Exodus Funeral Home, not in with us today, and so I'm basically flying solo. Subsequent to our discussion last week, and I know that on Thursday I said that we had to wrap up the discussion on grief, but the fact is, if a demand is there, we have to address the demand, and so long as we have questions, so long as based on the feedback that we're getting from individuals, there are concerns that they want addressed, as long as we have the information, friends, we are going to pause, stop a little bit longer if needs be, and go through the information with you. So individuals have asked, how can family members or how can friends help those who are going through grief? And I've spoken to our counselor who was here last time, and I have some information to share with you. By the way, if you want to call in the little time that we have left, the number is 876-968-8117. That's 876-968-8117. Toll free 877-494-0253. So, how can family members and friends, that's the question, how can they help individuals who are grieving or support individuals who are grieving? How do you know when to be silent? How do you know when to speak up? How do you know to be there for somebody so they know that, boy, whatever they are going through, whilst they're going through this grief, you are there with them and you are there to help them through the pain? One good thing to do is talk with other loved ones. That's the first thing. So instead of talking to the person directly, talk to other loved ones. Though some persons will talk, some persons will be silent. So talk to other loved ones. Get a feel of what is happening, of the emotions that is swirling in the family. And that will be a guide as to how to approach individual or individuals who are going through grief. So you will know whether to be silent and just give them company, or whether to engage in a conversation or in social activities. Because again, there's no one size fit all. So the very important and premier thing to do is to seek to understand how the environment is. So you talk with other loved ones. Some persons, it is okay for you to just be there. They are appreciative of your company. Just being there says a lot. Other persons will want to have a conversation. Now, in cases where persons want to talk, allow them to do most of the talking. They talk, you listen. You will respond at intervals where necessary. Just the conversation, engaging. But for the most part, allow the person who is going through the process to do the talking, because this will help them, will assist them to go through what they're going through. Allow them to express themselves. So one of the key things to do when trying to help individuals get through grief is to listen. Listening is important. And please try to refrain from giving your experience when it is not solicited. So yes, there might be a possibility that you would have had a recent experience where you were going through grief and you had to do a particular thing, or you had a particular coping mechanism. That is your strategy. Unless the person asks you, what did you do or how did you manage to get through this? Don't just voluntarily share what you thought worked for you. So don't say, well, at the time when whatever died, I did this or I did that. It may come across, even though that's not your intention, but it may come across as being insensitive to the situation and to the person. So it is important to listen to the person, listen attentively to what direction the conversation is going in, and keep the conversation in that particular direction unless or until your advice is solicited. Do not volunteer your advice. Some persons just want somebody who will listen. Some persons just want somebody to be there. The next thing is to enjoy time with friends and families, or encourage the individual to spend some time with family and friends. Even the most introverted individual at some point will need to be around family and friends, and that is even before the actual funeral service, because at the service you are forced to be in the company of people, and predominantly individuals who you are not related to either. So during the grieving process, try somewhat to encourage the person without sometimes saying it, without saying it, but kind of encourage them to be with family and friends and enjoy the time with family and friends. And a good way to do it is in conversations, again, sharing memories of the person, maybe reflecting on times that you had, fun times that you had, and situations that the person would have done something, either something inspirational or something funny. You talk about these things, it helps to laugh a little about things that had happened in the past that created humor or humorous situations. So a little laugh. Laugh is good medicine. The Bible tells us that. Laugh is very good medicine. And even in grief or in grieving, you can get some time to laugh about something that has happened. If it's not even about the deceased, but even with the person that you're talking to, based on the moments that you are sharing, you can find something in that to laugh about. And so it becomes easier to help individuals who are grieving to cope with what is happening to them. Remember, nothing lasts forever, not even grieving, but it takes time. Some things take longer than others. Some persons takes a little bit longer to get through the process as do others. The key thing to do as a family member or as a friend of somebody who is grieving, one, be there for the person. Listen to the person. Provide the company that the person needs. That is important. Your presence is much more important sometimes than what you have to say. If it's somebody who will talk, again, allow them to talk. Allow them to express themselves. And please pay attention to the individual. If you see behavioral changes, if you see the person behaving in a way that it is not the norm for this person, maybe it is that this person starts to drink excessively. And trust me, that is one telltale sign. This person starts to drink alcohol excessively or do other social things. You understand that this person is trying to get through the grief. If these things are happening, suggest counseling. Suggest counseling. And I know sometimes persons shy away from counseling because they believe that it is too expensive, but where you can assist, do so, but get professional help for your friends, for your loved ones who are experiencing real exceptional grief. And you will see the signs based on their behavior. Friends, thank you so much for being a part of the program. I want to say it's very special thanks to Mr. Mackey for dropping in this morning to chat with us. I want to say happy Emancipation tomorrow. Tomorrow is a holiday. Please be safe. Whatever you're doing, please be safe. We'd rather to have you as listeners than to have you as clients. Please be safe. And of course, this is your program, Final Decision, aired every Monday and Thursday. We're going to be here again on Thursday at 11:30 to talk with you and to share information with you and to have a good time with you as we spend time in your space together. It will get better because, in fact, it came to pass. Have a good day, and we talk again on Thursday.
It will get better. It will get better. Won't last forever. Won't last forever. And if you trust in the Lord, your nights will turn to day. Just remember.
This is KLAS FM, the station where you get God and sports. We broadcast on the 89 frequencies on your FM band.